In this video, we'll discuss a relatively recent but very promising approach to hyperparameter optimization, using gradient-based optimization not only to optimize the weights of the neural network, but to also optimize the hyperparameters. Let's dive right in. Hyperparameter gradient descent. Let us start by writing hyperparameter optimization as a bilevel optimization problem. We'll denote hyperparameters by theta again, and parameters of the neural network as W. We'll denote by Lval the validation loss of the network, and by Ltrain the training loss. And then the optimization of theta can be written as this following bilevel optimization problem here. So we want to optimize the validation loss with respect to theta, and this depends on this W star of theta, which on the inner level is defined as a minimizer of the training loss, given this hyperparameter theta. So this here is the outer objective, and this here is the inner objective. Now this setup matches directly what happens when we train a neural network with hyperparameter setting theta. W star is just the result of minimizing the training loss for this neural network with this hyperparameter setting. So basically, when we run SGD in order to optimize W for a network with hyperparameters theta. So this inner problem really directly mimics a standard run of SGD. And the outer problem, well, that mimics the loop of optimizing the hyperparameters theta, given that the parameters of the network are set as a best response function to the hyperparameters theta. So that's our bilevel formulation of the hyperparameter optimization problem. And then we can actually think of getting gradients for our hyperparameters by actually trying to backpropagate through this entire optimization process here. So this W star here, that in practice is being approximated by running SGD. And we can write the computation that happens in SGD as a computational graph and then backpropagate through that in order to see what would happen if we change theta a little bit, what would happen in the W star of theta, and what would the combined effect of this change of theta and the change of W star of theta be on the validation loss. And that is going to be our gradient of the validation loss with respect to theta. So we backpropagate through the entire optimization of the neural network. And that at first glance sounds really strange. SGD is something that actually runs for many, many steps. But, well, if we write it as a computational graph, then actually just executing SGD is basically just a forward pass, and the backward path through this computation isn't actually any longer than the forward pass. So we can actually get these gradients just for the same cost as a forward evaluation. So for the same cost we have to pay in order to compute our W star of theta, we can also pay that same cost again and get our gradients with respect to theta of this computation. And that is then extremely powerful. So just for twice the cost, we can get gradients with respect to all our hyperparameters, no matter how many hyperparameters we have, And well, so that actually opens up a lot of possibilities and deals a lot of freedom to include hyperparameters that would otherwise have been completely unwieldy, such as, for example, tuning a different learning rate for every layer of the neural network for every epoch. And that is actually something that indeed McLaurin et al. Do in this paper. And so this possibility of all of a sudden being flexible to tackle a lot of different hyperparameters in a gradient-based computation, that, well, opens up a lot of doors and is very powerful. And as a result of that, this direction has actually become a really hot topic, and there's lots of recent work along these lines. And here are just a few references in case you're interested to read more about this. So one particular follow-up work that I would like to mention is that you can actually approximate this bi-level optimization problem by interleaving optimization steps. So you don't need to continue the full SGD run, but you can, for example, just do a single step in your hyperparameters and then a single step in your SGD for the parameters. So you do a single step of your parameters with respect to your training loss. So that's a single step of your inner standard SGD. And then you do a single step with respect to your hyperparameters with respect to the validation loss. And then you simply alternate these two. So this inner step here, just you take a training batch, you forward prop it and backward prop in order to get gradients with respect to your parameters, and you do a parameter update. And this here, well, you just take a batch of your validation set and forward prop and backward prop with respect to your hyperparameters. So it's just a different part of the computational graph, a different set of variables that you compute your gradients with respect to. And then you simply alternate these two. And well, in general, there's no guarantee that this will actually converge. But in practice, it often works surprisingly well. And well, now you're basically just running SGD. And well, at every step of SGD, you're also doing another step with respect to hyperparameters. So you, in total, actually take the same cost as SGD times 2. And in the end, you have not only optimized your parameters of the neural network, but you have also optimized your hyperparameters and have optimized the parameters as a best response function to these hyperparameters. So that is very powerful and just very efficient. And well, it's mostly exciting because this is so fast. It basically just promises to speed up hyperparameter optimization from a 10-fold or 100-fold overhead to something like a 2-fold overhead. And at the same time, also allow you to have a lot of different hyperparameter settings. So because of that, hyperparameter gradient descent is an extremely relevant and extremely important topic these days, but I still wouldn't say that it is at the point where it's really working very well for all kinds of different problems and all kinds of different new data sets and new algorithms and so on. All right, so that brings us to the end of this video. And as always, I'd like to leave you with some questions. And I encourage you to pause the video and think about them to activate the material. And thank you.